Hello, the Billion Coin community. My name is Pilane Kumalo, and today I'm just making this brief video about my journey in the TBC community. I basically started with the TBC community back in 2016. It was April when the concept of TBC was introduced to me back in 2016. At that point in time, I did not understand much about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. But because of the educational block of what TBC was and what was it going to do in the future to basically end poverty, it just simply resonated with me. And then I decided I wanted to be part of this community. And I remember, a full stake of TBC coins after I was motivated by the person that basically wanted me to join the TBC community. From that point, I really did not know exactly how these coins will function and how I was going to sell them and make money in the future. But through the active educational blog of the TBC, I was learning a lot from the TBC admin, who was constantly posting the educational blogs on educating us that basically TBC was a form of money. I basically learned about an agreement of TBC as a private cryptocurrency that needs to gather about 1 billion people worldwide that can use TBC as a cryptocurrency. This currency has a potential basically to grow as it acquires more membership because its value is based on the membership that are using this coin. So it has a potential whereby we can use it as a utility in future, whereby we can use it as means of paying for goods and services, because I also came to a point of understanding that money was just simply a social agreement. Just if you read about the concept of money and going back in the days, you will realize that our ancient ancestors from back in the days, they used a lot of different systems from what we are using currently now to basically exchange for goods and services. Like, for an example, there were barter systems at the beginning of time whereby societies will trade a product for a product or maybe a service for a service, up until those communities were evolving and finding better ways basically of using systems that they can use to trade amongst themselves. Like, there was a time they introduced shells, as well as things like shekels, as well as the things like salt and grain was used back in the days for trading by ancient societies. Up until such points, they used things like gold and silver, which these basically they understood at that point in time that it was a form of money and a form of exchange that they could use to trade. And therefore, I looked at the history and I realized that at some point, money evolved and it became paper, which is what we know till this current day, that we are using the paper money and we have faith in it, as it has been agreed socially, globally, that this unit of paper basically it can be exchanged for any goods or any services. But as I learned on the TBC blog, I realized that there was basically a flaw on the system, because the current system that we use right now, it's basically a top-down system whereby the distribution of money is not fair at all. The people at the bottom, they are basically, let's say, trading their services for money, like having a job or maybe taking out a loan to trade for your future services, which leaves people with no much time basically to do any other things that they are basically capable of, like maybe the gifts of writing, maybe let's say the gifts of inventing, because we are all tied up to this system which is centralized, whereby it needs us to work full time in order to earn this paper money. But now, 2009, a system was released by Satoshi Nakamoto called a blockchain, whereby it's a distributed ledger whereby any application can be recorded on top of it. Either it can be a currency or simply it can be an asset or a contract. Now, this system is one of the greatest technologies that has been invented to basically give the power back to humanity. Because now, if you look at applications, for an example, like Bitcoin, you will understand that in that application, they recorded basically money that can be used by the people, and it is totally decentralized and not attached to any banks, basically. So it is the money for the people. Therefore, it gave basically the power to the people to start controlling money and other cryptocurrencies that we use to this current day. But now I was very amazed by the concept of TBC, basically on how it has a way that it can create an application that can distribute tokens that has values that are attached to the membership, and it can distribute them to a global mass adoption. And therefore, I realized that the system basically has a power. And therefore, if we can have many people around the world that can basically understand its concept, that if we have 1 billion people whom all of them are owning these TBC coins, and we had an agreement of the value of the coins, and in future we have the merchants and we have the suppliers, we have the manufacturers who are basically accepting TBC as a payment system, and we have created an economy. And therefore, at that stage, we have created a new playground whereby other members of the community will come join us. And therefore, we can use a new token in the future whereby it's stable and it cannot be manipulated by the open market. So, this is a great idea which has been implemented by the creator of TBC. So, basically, myself being on the journey learning about this TBC as a whole, I came a lot of interesting information in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain space, and I realized that blockchain basically has the capabilities of destroying, or maybe let me say disrupting, many industries in the future which people are not aware of. Now, it also has a lot of capabilities of giving freedom to the people using the decentralized systems, either than the systems that are controlled by the global cabal and the elites as well as the government. Now, looking at TBC as a cryptocurrency, as I had been teaching other people to adopt this currency, it has been a great journey that I had teaching people on how TBC works and how it can change the world as we adopt it, and how it will come to a global mass adoption once people can realize that it can have its liquidity as we grow as a community. Now, ever since my journey began in the year 2016 in June, I have met a lot of people and I have traveled to different countries and different cities within my countries as well, spreading the word about TBC and its abundant economy. As you can see on my Kringler Cash account here, that I've got about 766 entries basically here, which simply shows that I had been sharing this system with the people to receive free coins. These coins, they also have value that is attached to the membership. As we grow, people are going to be able to use these coins basically to pay for goods and services as we grow for the community, and everyone can collect these coins and store them in their wallet. And therefore, to basically create enormous wealth, you can simply top up and buy more coins. Currently, for an example, we have what we are calling a system of cookies, whereby people they can just pay 100 euros and they can get about one full TBC coin, which is the current offer. And I like how TBC basically has now structured a way whereby 1 million people need to become billionaires in the TBC economy by purchasing one full TBC coin. And then about 999 million people, for an example, has a chance to become TBC millionaires. Now, you can imagine how powerful this economy can be in future, which is a cryptocurrency that is used by about 1 billion people. I'm definitely sure it will attract the interest of the global community, the corporates, the businesses, the merchants. Everyone will want to be part of this system, which cannot be manipulated. Currently, I can attest that this is the greatest invention that we had so far to try and build an abundance-based cryptocurrency as we proceed in future. Now, TBC, we currently have about 2.6 million members, and we are growing on a daily basis. Now, it's important with TBC that we need to grow the membership because the value of TBC as a coin itself, it's attached to the membership. It's a first of its kind, this kind of currency whereby it's not depending on the supply and demand on the market, but it's basically depending on the growth of the membership, which means each and every member is equivalent to about €1 in the ecosystem of the TBC. Hence, therefore, the value of TBC will only grow when the membership grow. I have to say I've never seen a system like that before because most of the systems we have, basically the traditional economic system, it's where everything is based on the supply and demand. And therefore, TBC has a great potential of changing this scarcity system of supply and demand by implementing a new formula whereby everything is based, not really everything, but the value of the coins are based on the growth of the membership themselves. Now you can imagine as we grow to billions of people who are basically using these coins, it's going to create a whole lot of liquidity in the market for people that have invested in this TBC cryptocurrency. And you, if you're still standing on the sidelines as well, not understanding TBC as a cryptocurrency, you can simply go ahead and collect your free coins basically using a criminal catch system. You can basically get a link from any member of the TBC community and you can start reading the educational blog. And then as you grow, you will get to understand the concept of TBC and how it works and basically how it has a potential of distributing wealth from the top to the bottom and give the power back to the people. Because we as the people, we cannot continue being controlled by a few group of individuals. For an example, this morning I was basically checking stats for an interest to see basically as to how many billionaires do we have around the world. And I came to shocking results on Wikipedia, whereby it shows that in the current world that we are living in, of about how many people globally, about 7.6 billion people in 2018, we only have a fraction of people, about 2043 billionaires, who are the only billionaires in the world. So this is not fair because it simply shows how money is concentrated in the hands of the few. And these people are the one basically that we can say they have the global power and they control the affairs of the world. Now, this needs to be changed so we can create a system which is bottom to top, whereby wealth is distributed equally to the people globally so we can experience the life of abundance. So it is basically upon us, the generation that is living right now, that we can use this blockchain as a tool that can change the systems and give the power back to the people by growing, because the more we grow, the more basically we're gonna become untouchable. Basically, if we grow in numbers as a community that is using an exit strategy to basically use their own economy and their own form of money instead of maybe using violence and protest against the current system. So the solution is very simple. We just exit the current systems. With that being said, I came across a very interesting article on a website called Hackanoon. This article is written by a guy called, Jeffries. Now, he talks about why everyone missed the most mind-blowing future of a